comment. I gotta really fix that. It's supposed to automatically unmute me. It doesn't. But hey, guys, we're here on the 16th of October 2020 to talk about everything that went down tonight on Friday Night Smackdown. Tonight's Friday Night Smackdown was the quote-unquote season premiere of Smackdown. And I thought, they really didn't do anything, if not much at all, that was super special, as they were touting this to be just an awesome show with big surprises and all this other kind of stuff. But to me, to be 100% honest, nothing extra special really happened on tonight's Smackdown. Basically, everything was pretty predictable, if I do say so myself. But I want to thank you guys for joining me here tonight. Twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. Remember, we're here on Twitch, and you can support us a few different ways here on Twitch. First off, by dropping some bits, or with a subscription. You can either do a tiered subscription or for free if you have Amazon Prime. Because if you have Amazon Prime, then that means you have Prime Gaming. And with Prime Gaming, you get one free subscription to any Twitch channel that you want to support throughout the month. And I would greatly appreciate it if that one Twitch channel was us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Because as I've been saying, all the money we make going forward for the foreseeable future, whether that is with bits, donations, or Twitch subscriptions, that will be going back to help families in need from the Creek Fire here in Central California. Families that either just have lost some things, been displaced, or even lost their homes entirely. Again, like I've been saying as well, I know people personally that have lost things. I know one family that their house did burn down, and I just want to help multiple families with the supplies and things that they need, but I need your guys' help with those donations. So with that, guys, let's get into it and talk about SmackDown. Remember, if you want to be part of tonight's show, right down there at the bottom of the screen, and it's in the live chat, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that's 510-906-1341. The SmackDown actually technically started 30 minutes early with a kickoff show. The kickoff show was supposed to be hosted by Renee Young, or Renee Paquette as Fox was calling her, and Booker T. But instead, it was hosted by Michael Cole and Booker T, and they didn't call her Renee Paquette on the show. They called her Renee Young, as Renee came to us via her home in Vegas. Now, some of you may go, why wasn't she there live? Why didn't she come to Orlando? Why wasn't she in the Thunderdome? And I think her not being in the Thunderdome was the right idea. I mean, her husband's Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley worked Bloodsport last weekend. The Collective had multiple people test positive for COVID following the event. So, yeah, I get it. Moxley may have tested negative, and that's why he was able to work the AEW show on Wednesday. But it's called contact tracing. And just because he tested negative Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 2 or 3 days after the Collective, doesn't mean he didn't have it in his system. And maybe even passed it to his wife. So I don't know if this was a call on Fox or if this was a call by WWE to not keep her, to not keep her or bring her to Orlando. Either way, I think it was the right call just to be safe in case she does maybe have it again. It would be unfortunate if that was the case, but I think in all actuality, Renee not being there in person was the right call just based off of her husband and the activities that he partook in this past weekend. And you can call shade on AEW for using him, whether he was negative. Well, I assume he had to be negative if he was used, but it's called contact tracing. It's called you can test positive 5 days after getting it. It's called, look what Ring of Honor did. Ring of Honor brought everybody in and put them in hotel rooms and tested everybody. And even if you got a negative, they made the decision last night to send everybody that was at the Collective home. We know a number of people that worked the Collective, like Dan Housen, who went on Twitter and said he was sent home. And I know Jonathan Gresham worked Joey Janela's spring break as well, so he most likely was sent home. But we're not here to talk about all that. We're here to talk about SmackDown, as SmackDown kicked off with Stephanie and Triple H. And this was god-awful bad, not needed, and boring. Stephanie and Triple H are in the ring. And most of the SmackDown roster and some of the guys moving over to Raw were there on the stage. They acknowledged the New Day. They acknowledged Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins, Bryan, and they even said, we've got some new faces to Friday Night Smackdown and mentioned a couple of the names that have been drafted from Raw, and then said Sami Zayn and Otis. And I go, whoa, 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 whoa. Sami Zayn and Otis, they ain't new to SmackDown. What happened there? I don't know. But then Stephanie and Triple H started making random weird jokes, and none of it was funny. None of it was really needed. The roster brawled. Lars came out, beat up a couple guys. Jeff Hardy attacks him from behind, and boom, we get a match. Jeff Hardy, Lars Sullivan. Like, none of this was needed. This was a big waste of time. It was a time filler, in my opinion. I didn't like this. I didn't like the way SmackDown opened. It was one of those, we think we're funny, but we're really not kind of deals with Triple H and Stephanie. So we get a okay match with Lars and Jeff Hardy. I think the match did go a little long. I think it could have been shorter, especially for a Lars Sullivan match. Hardy was briefly in control early until he messed up his knee. Sullivan took over and was firmly in control. He hit a sliding clothesline for a near fall, but missed a diving headbutt. Hardy fired up and made a comeback, but couldn't knock Sullivan off his feet. And Michael Cole and Corey Graves couldn't help themselves. Every opportunity they had, the freak, the freak, the freak, the freak, the freak this, the freak that. Like, goddamn, just call him Lars Sullivan. So Sullivan regains control after Hardy gets wiped out, but then Hardy hits him with the whisper in the wind and gets a 1 count. And the announcers, the commentary, they're like stunned, shocked, like, oh my God, he kicked out at 1. Okay, it's just a whisper in the wind. It ain't a twist of fate. Matt does hit a twist of fate, though. Or Jeff does hit a twist of fate, though. Jeff hits a twist of fate and goes for a swanton, but Sullivan got to his feet off of it. No-sold it, basically. Hardy was shocked that Sullivan got up so quickly. Sullivan then grabbed Hardy, hit him with the freak accident, and picked up the victory. Lars Sullivan defeats Jeff Hardy as he moves over to Monday Night Raw. WWE then announced that Jeff Jarrett is here with us in the Thunderdome as part of the virtual crowd. And we'll be there live in a week from Sunday as part of the Hell in a Cell kickoff panel. That's an interesting call. Jeff Jarrett on the Hell in a Cell kickoff panel. They then showed a really just excellent, cool, great video package for Bianca Belair and her SmackDown debut, which hopefully is coming sooner rather than later. I love the fact that not only did we get current footage of Bianca Belair, but we got old footage of her in her track days and them showing us that she won medals for track and set records and stuff. It was really nice to see. I liked that a lot. Next up, we had the New Day's farewell. The New Day made their way down to the ring, and they cut a promo. Woods pointed out that Big E is staying on SmackDown, and they're going to Raw, him and Kofi. Kingston got a little emotional as he started talking about their time together as a team. They talked about their highlights together, including winning 2 triple threat tag team matches to retain the titles, Hell in a Cell against the Usos, and even Kofi winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Woods also got very emotional as he spoke about the last 6 years of his life being the best 6 years of his life. Kingston talked about considering quitting wrestling in 2012, not knowing if this is what he wanted to do anymore. But then Woods and Big E approached him. The New Day was born, and it regrew his love for pro wrestling. Kofi got so emotional that he could barely talk at one point. And he said that not only have these guys become my partners, my friends, but they're my brothers in every sense of the word that a brother is. Woods goes, all right, time to change the mood. We got business to take care of tonight. And they did the whole New Day Rock stuff. I thought this was great. It seemed very genuine. None of it seemed like it was extra scripted out or anything. It was kind of just like they told these guys, go out there, talk about your time as the New Day, what it means to no longer be with Big E, and we'll go from there. I thought if this was in front of a real live crowd, this would have been an all-time great, send-off segment type deal. Like, this would have been probably one of the best segments WWE's done in 2020 if we had a live crowd. Maybe even since last year, or even including last year. Like, this was just great in itself. And like I said, if there was, not to beat a dead horse, but if there was a live crowd, this would have been even better. So in the back, Sheamus, Cesaro, and Nakamura were getting ready, waiting for their entrance, and they were interviewed. Basically, they said that they're going to take out the New Day. Nakamura said, "We're not just taking out the New Day for now, we're taking out the New Day forever." But this was a really good match. They worked a fast pace, and everybody worked well together, like really well together. The faces were firmly in control early on. Kingston leaped over Big E and hit a senton on Cesaro. Woods lifted Big E and dropped him on Cesaro for a near fall. The heels took over and isolated Woods on their side of the ring. Sheamus and Cesaro made references to their days as the Bar. Woods fought back and hit a sliding knee. Big E powerbombed Woods on Sheamus, and Kofi hit a splash for a near fall. The heels regained control and isolated Kingston on their side of the ring. Kingston tried fighting back, but Cesaro dragged him back to their corner. Kingston ended up on the corner, but Sheamus pulled him off. Back from a commercial break, the heels were in control. Kingston hit a SOS on Sheamus. Big E got the hot tag. He ran wild on Cesaro and hit a big splash. He attempted the big ending, but Cesaro countered into a gut-wrench suplex. A little bit later, Kingston jumped off the top, but Nakamura caught him with a knee. Cesaro did the giant swing on Kingston, and Nakamura hit a Kinshasa. Sheamus hit the white noise on Kingston for a near fall. Sheamus went shoulder first into the post here. Kingston made a comeback. New Day then hit the midnight hour and picked up the victory. So with that, New Day pick up the victory. Kofi and Woods will be moving to Raw. Sheamus will also be moving to Raw. And we'll see how it goes. I've heard some things about if they pull the trigger, or not pull the trigger on Orton, and have McIntyre retain the title of Hell in a Cell, Sheamus could be the next challenger for Drew McIntyre in the WWE Championship, which I think will be great, given that these two guys will work fabulously together. And I think with their history, they can tell some great stories as well, as far as Sheamus and Cesaro, or not Sheamus, Cesaro, Sheamus and McIntyre do go. So after the match, all three members of the New Day embraced in the ring with hugs. Another very emotional segment. In the back, Caleb Braxton interviewed Otis, but Sami Zayn interrupted pretty quickly. He pointed out that Tucker and Mandy both went to Raw. He lost them. And maybe he's going to lose his money in the bank briefcase as well, because he's just losing things altogether. Otis then pushed Sami to the ground, and I hope this isn't the next program for the IC title. Nothing against Otis, but he's already got money in the bank. He doesn't need to be also going for the IC title. And then we got it, ladies and gentlemen. The Yes Movement is back. Daniel Bryan live in the Thunderdome. They showed Bryan's wife Bree and his daughter Birdie on the screen as far as being in the virtual crowd. Bryan talked about all the new names coming to SmackDown, and even some of the names that he'd like to face, like Kevin Owens, Aleister Black, and Apollo Crews. He was then interrupted by Seth Rollins, and I go, ho, take my money now, please. Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins? Yes, yes, yes. I mean, that's a yes chant if I ever seen one. Give me Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins. That'd be amazing. So Seth came down to the ring and asked Bryan, you want to be on the right side of history? Do you want to help me make this industry better than it already is? You're either with me or against me. Bryan made fun of Rollins. He said Rollins' vision is self-centered and kind of dumb. Rollins said it wasn't dumb. Bryan repeated that Rollins' vision is dumb. Dumb, like wearing a sports coat without a shirt, which Rollins was doing. Rollins attacked Bryan and hit him with a microphone. Bryan, though, made a comeback and attempted the yes kicks. Rollins rolled out of the ring to leave, but when he did, he was met by the Mysterios. Ray and Dominic chased him back into the ring. And so Ray and Dominic are staring down Seth. And Seth looks at Daniel and is like, I'm outnumbered. I need your help. You going to help me here, Daniel? And Daniel looks at Ray, looks at Dominic, looks at Seth, looks back to them and goes, have at it, boys. So Bryan gets out of the ring and Murphy runs down. Murphy runs down and looks like he's going to be, I guess you could say, on Rollins' side of things, but immediately takes him down with a double leg. Rollins finally gets out of the ring and leaves. Murphy tries to extend a handshake to Ray. Dominic looks at him like, don't you even fucking dare. Don't you even dare. Dominic was ready to just knock this guy's block off. He wanted to kill Murphy. Ray kind of looked I don't know, as well when the Mysterios just left. So Murphy wants to be on the Mysterio side now, but they don't know if they can trust him based off of all the stuff he's done, which I don't blame them. Next up, we have the Smackdown tag team titles on the line. And I got to talk about something here. So on Raw, we saw the New Day and the Street Profits switch their titles. So the red titles stay on Raw and the blue titles stay on SmackDown. But here's the thing. When they switched titles, WWE counted that as new reigns. So the Street Profits are Triple Crown Tag Team Champions because they're technically stating that they have won the NXT Tag Titles, which they have, won the Raw Tag Titles, which they have, and won the goddamn SmackDown Tag Team Titles, which they're the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, but they didn't win those titles. It's still the same reign, so it shouldn't count as a new reign, which really makes me mad with the New Day because the New Day are now 10-time tag team champions in WWE because of this new reign, which means they are now the winningest tag team in all of WWE. Last week, when they won the SmackDown tag titles, they tied the Dudleys for 9-time champs. Now, they're 10-time champs and have the record. Bullshit. But this match was nothing. Like, it really was. They showed Ric Flair on the screen. Angelo Dawkins and Ziggler started. Dawkins missed a spinning splash in the corner, which allowed Ziggler to make the tag. Rude took over and knocked Montez off the apron. Ziggler scored a near fall, but Ford broke it up. Ford snapped, but the heels overpowered him and beat him down. The heels wouldn't both get one of the... I don't even know who was legal, honestly. Was it Rude? Was it Ziggler? I don't know. But neither of them would get out of the ring. They were beating him down. Beating down Ford, that is. And so the ref just calls for a DQ. What? Huh? Crap. Lame. Dumb. They brawl a little bit more after the match. They tossed Ford to the floor. The heels did. Rude hit a spinebuster on Dawkins. Ford recovered, hit a huge crossbody on the heels, and that was it. And then, Corey Graves called this a rivalry that may continue in the future, or something along those lines. I'm like, fuck. Here's your Hell in a Cell tag title match. Next up, we got Sasha Banks versus Bayley. Very predictable here. It's contract signing. Basically, Sasha came out, called Bayley a coward, signed the contract. Bayley said, I've had this title for over a year, and I've done it all by myself. Sasha laughs, no, you didn't. Bayley then says, I never needed you. I don't need you. You're jealous of me. Sasha once again calls her a coward, and Bayley never signs a contract before running away. Banks noted that she wouldn't do any of this to a friend and pointed out that Bayley is no longer her friend. She said, Bayley, when everyone left you behind in NXT, who brought you to the main roster? Who brought you here as their tag team partner? It was I. Who helped you hold that title for so long? And Bayley was just like, well, I did this all by myself. So, very predictable. Sasha then said, I know you're going to sign this contract eventually, Bayley. I'm going to get you inside the cell. And that was it. Oh, and Adam Pearce was the moderator. Cool. Sean Cook, has to be an issue on your end. No issues on my end. And every week you're the only one that says you have lag issues. So then we get various celebrities wishing SmackDown a congratulating SmackDown on 1 year on Fox. We got Ken Jeong, Joel McHale, and George Kittle. Then we got a segment of Stone Cold Steve Austin. It had nothing to do with wrestling. It was a hype up that he's going to be on the Big Noon show tomorrow. Cool. Big Noon Countdown. There. Fox's college football preview show every week. Okay. They said, who would you like to attack like you did Vince McMahon back in the day? And he said some tree. I don't even know. Some tree. Not a big college football watcher myself. I watch the Longhorns. That's about it. So I don't know. I think he said something about Stanford and their tree that's not really the mascot. I don't know. Someone correct me in the comments below or the live chat. We then move on to our main event. Universal title on the line. Paul Heyman was there with Roman Reigns as he defended his title against Braun Strowman. The Reigns and Strowman had a pretty good match. Both worked very hard. And after the match, Strowman was dead. just gassed, couldn't catch his breath. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. Michael Cole and Corey Graves noted that if Strowman wins tonight, he takes the title, the Universal title, to Monday Night Raw. They were both very worried that SmackDown may be left without a main champion. They did special intros. They even showed Mark Henry, Rob Stone, and Goldberg in the crowd, which was crap. Goldberg said he was going to... Now, here's the thing. Goldberg said he was going to be in the Thunderdome tonight. Never said he was going to be at SmackDown or be at the Thunderdome. And being in the virtual crowd is what they call being in the Thunderdome. Sure. So as this match begins, we see that Jey Uso is in gorilla position watching backstage. Reigns jump-started the match and hit a Superman punch that sent Strowman to the floor after throwing him onto the apron. Reigns backed Strowman into a corner and continued to dominate. Strowman made a brief comeback, but Reigns hit a big boot for a near fall. Reigns sent Strowman back to the floor and slammed him into the announce table. Strowman fought back and tossed Reigns over the announce table. Strowman then hit a running shoulder tackle, which sent Reigns over the barricade. Back from the break, they did an up-close shot of Goldberg watching and pointed it out that he was really paying attention to this match. And they also had a Keith Lee in the virtual crowd. Never mentioned it. Reigns was in control here, but Strowman did make a comeback. Strowman fired up and hit a choke slam for a near fall. When Reigns kicked out, he gave Strowman a low blow. Ref never saw it. Reigns then hit a spear, got a near fall off of it. Reigns just couldn't keep Strowman down. The finish of the match then came when Reigns attempted a second spear, but Strowman countered with the power slam. Reigns, though, slipped out of the power slam and locked in a guillotine choke, which made Braun Strowman tap out. Roman wins by submission. They said it on commentary, and I can't even remember when was the last time Roman won by a submission. I have no clue if that's ever even happened. So after the match, Jey Uso walked out and stood at the top of the ramp. Reigns looked at Uso and hit another spear on Strowman. Uso slowly made his way down to the ring, but Reigns grabbed a chair. Jey stood at ringside as Roman was yelling at him to get in the ring. Roman then viciously beat down Strowman with a chair, and we start hearing and it's Strowman just totally gassed. I don't know if he's selling the chair shots or if he's really just fucking just that out of it after this match. But you hear him just dying a death. He was right next to a camera. The mic was on that camera, and he was just like, holy crap. Roman's yelling at Jey, I don't want to do this to you. Just do what I ask. Call me your tribal chief. Say it. You know you want to. You know it's the right thing to do. Uso finally got into the ring. Reigns told him that he loves him, and he's just trying to help him. He said he looked at Strowman, who had been beat down in the ring, and said, this is how we feed our families. Reigns then threw the chair at Jey's feet, turned around and said, I'll even let you hit me. Jey picked up the chair, teased hitting Roman, but didn't do it at first. Roman then smiled. Uso snapped and hit him with an uppercut. He then hit him with a super kick and started beating him down with a chair after the super kick took Reigns down. The officials then stopped Uso, but Reigns gave him a low blow. Reigns then looked down at Uso and told him that he gave him a second chance, and now he has to turn his back on him. Basically said, hey, I let you try again. You won't call me the chief. I said you can do it. I'm giving you another shot, but now that you won't, basically Roman said he's exiled. I took it as he's out of the family, and Roman's going to whoop his ass. So we'll see how this all goes. I think the match at Hell in a Cell is going to be great. We've never seen an I Quit match inside Hell in a Cell, but in actuality, great idea. Really great idea. But that was Smackdown, ladies and gentlemen. That was Friday Night Smackdown. Remember, guys, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. We do have a couple text messages here. Person says, who do you think will challenge Roman next? I don't know. I really don't. Because it's hard to tell. We don't know who they're really building up past Hell in a Cell. As far as the babyface side of things go, They teased today Goldberg. I doubt it's going to be Goldberg. Maybe we get Reigns versus Goldberg at Survivor Series. I don't know. Maybe Big E. But the way they've been pushing it, Big E's probably going to eventually go for the IC title. So there's really nobody unless they do bring in Goldberg. And this just mentions here, does state, would it be cool if Big E would win the Money in the Bank from Otis? Why? It would make 100% no sense. Why would a babyface steal and take and win another babyface's Money in the Bank? That would make 100% absolute no sense. If anything was going to happen with that, then it would have been Miz somehow getting the briefcase. Big E, that makes no sense. Also, Broken King Slender in the chat says, I thought Goldberg used up all his dates in 2020. His contractual dates. Doesn't mean WWE can't pay him more for one more show. He can always get paid more to come to work Survivor Series. Just stating. And this last text message here says, do you think we're ever going to get the planned Goldberg versus Roman match that WWE planned for Mania? I mean, maybe that's the plan going into Survivor Series. We'll have to wait and see, but maybe. Maybe. And this final text message is state. It'll load. Give me 1 second. Here we go. First, it says, I would love to see Big E challenge Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. Not only will Sami Zayn play being scared of Big E well, but I think the two will have great matches together. Agreed. 100%. And they teased it slightly on Talking Smack last week, where Woods was like sitting there next to Sami, and he's like, hey, Big E's staying here on SmackDown. He may want to go for that right there. And Sami picks up the belt and goes, oh, that's mine? No, we're good here. And Big E goes, not yet, but in time. Not yet, but in time. So I'd love to see Sami versus Big E for the IC title. I think those would be great matches. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here tonight to talk about Friday Night SmackDown. Remember, if you missed any of this show or any of our previous reviews here on Twitch, you can check them out on youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember that, well, we're on social media, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. We're also on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and we're also on Twitter at PWUnlimited. So with that, guys, we will be back live Monday night following Monday Night Raw, the season premiere of Monday Night Raw on the USA Network. So have a good night, and we'll see you next time.